Good morning, everybody. Well, I think I put here in YouTube, this is going to take a little time to digest. Um, Kind of a strange pattern. Let me go to the S&Ps here. Everything's at resistance and everything just shot straight up, as you all know, yesterday on the Fed news. And when I say time to digest, I think it's going to be more, I think it's going to about, was this just short covering? We talked about the large open interest and put options, which did not go down as I hoped it would initially. That would set up this type of a rally off of the low. Rather, it just held there. It whipped around for a while and then just ripped higher when it didn't go down. And when it reached the top of the resistance area up there, it stopped. So, it reached a technical place. It basically closed what we call the void as it shot up there, and then it stopped. And now we'll see, does it actually create support? So those of you that have been here for a while, our factory work, as we like to call it, wide range bar is a power bar, but also the weakest link in the chart because there's no support underneath. And just shoot straight up and there's nothing to trade against. There's overlapping bars right here on the hourly chart. Let's see if there's anything there. Nothing there on the 15. As you can see, my scroll thing going back and forth. Sometimes where they opens and closes overlap each other. There's a little base or a stall there, but there's nothing there. So over here where it started, where it whipped back and forth and then shot straight up. And so you can see it's beginning to roll over. And the idea of creating support is based on creating a pivot and then a retest of the pivot, and it holds there. Now, for expecting it to hold here, I think would be nothing short of a miracle without some type of corrective price action. So not getting no short-term bearish that it didn't hold here for the moment, but it tried to hold here and now it hasn't. So if we just start picking spots like whole numbers, 4,200 is all the way down here. And so where's it going to hold? We're going to have to see, it failed here. How much lower will it go? And as we've seen also in the past, these big rally days have evaporated relatively quickly and falling all the way back down. Now, this is the biggest bar. Jake's telling 42.55 major support. So I guess there's a big open interest there, 42.55. Well, this is breaking below here, so I have to go look and see where this correlates in the S&Ps. But this is beginning to fail. So it either pivots and retests the pivot and turns back up, or you have a downside shakeout, which is a breakdown that fails. I mean, it breaks down and it springs right back up again and then begins to consolidate at that resistance area. In other words, when it hits the resistance, it doesn't fall back down again, that type of what we call just bullish price action, sideways at a resistance area. So, as you can see, it's moving lower here. We'll see if it springs back up, if it comes back down again. In other words, giving some time to digest yesterday's price action, which is normal after a big day like that. And, the typical of a big wide range day is followed by a narrow range day of consolidation. The narrow range day builds a support area that potentially prices can lift off from to get above the high of the wide range bar. Yeah, I figured that McGraw 4,200 would be a big open interest level, because just typically is that way at the whole numbers. Now, so that's one concept. And what we call MTS, Master Traded Technical Strategies, revolves around multiple concepts that come together. So while 4,200 is, just looking at this from the point of view of the S&P futures, it doesn't actually correlate to the exact same place on the chart. when we look at SPX. But coming all the way down there would put this rally into question, because what we look for with a big bar like this is for it to hold in the upper half. Now, it can dip down there if it springs right back up. We want to see the opens and closes to be in the upper half. You can get a bottoming tail bar that goes down. So if it goes down to this level, we want to see buyers come back in aggressively and push it right back up again, which again leads to digesting what happened yesterday. Can it consolidate, build a new support level where there is none, which happens either by pivots or breakdown failures? We have to see how this is going to develop. Right now, as you can see, prices are pulling back a little bit further, but in the context of the daily chart, so far, no big deal. So let's look at SPY. And by the way, if you're willing to take the overnight risk, the puts have huge open interest. You can go all the way down here if you're willing to hold into tomorrow, which is our 0 DTE day. Sometime this month, Thursdays will become available. I forget what day it is, but this premium way down here. So just normal conditions, in no way, shape, or form should this come all the way back down to here in a day. Even with multiple time frames in question, as far as the bearish point of view, I think it would be incredible for this to give back all of this in a day. This market has been really erratic, but again, we talk normal historical price action coming all the way down here. I think, the chances of doing that, and just making up numbers here, are probably less than 1%. So that's a consideration. All right, SPY 425. You can see it's up at the top half here. Really no big deal. These are bad ticks, those big up moves up there. And you can see all the little pivots that's forming, light price action pre-market. We have to see what actually develops here. And so we've still got 20 minutes to go. So gapping down from a climactic sell setup, we'll just see how far this moves to the downside before it begins to make a turn in the middle of nowhere. All right, so we're back to seeing, can it build some support? You see, you're still top of the range, pivot high there, declining moving averages. How far can it get into this void above before sellers come back in again? Does it digest this? Again, repeating, but it's going to be some choppy price action as we all digest what happened yesterday, and to see whether this is just short covering, some BS rally that's going to fall apart again. And we'll see. SPX below 4,100, above 4,400. Yes. Yeah. And so again, looking up above here tomorrow, I mean, look, this is bullish. It's giant. If it can hold on to this gain today and build, I would say that is a possibility tomorrow. All right. If today, and especially if things spike to the downside today and come back up and form a bottoming tail bar, I would say that is a real possibility. Whereas, historical patterns going down here, it just shouldn't happen. It just shouldn't happen. Right? And that's all we go on when we see patterns, right? This is what should happen. This is what shouldn't happen. Now, this created a giant move up, big void below. Where is it going to create some support point? And there's just nothing here. I mean, this little overlapping consolidation here, and what algos are just trying this. I mean, from somebody that primarily trades off of a 5-minute chart intraday, the reward to risk, I didn't see it, but it just kept flying, and you just have to make a decision whether you're going to SOH or try and jump on board in some other way from a little micro time frame. But if that your plan or not? So we've got this big move today. We wait to see on some move down, where does it actually hold or not? It's supposed to hold. Qs are coming back in. It made the pivot. Again, repeating. Does it just keep waterfalling down, or does it hit some level where it just pops right back up again, and that begins to give us something to trade against? Meaning it has shown where buyers, for whatever reason, on the way down here, decide what level, right, what number makes sense to institutions come in and buy aggressively in the middle of nowhere. Because you heard me say it once, you've heard me say it 1,000 times, looking to the left, and there is nothing. There's nothing there. So it has to create that support area. Dow coming back in, down a little over 200 points. There's nothing there. Same story. And it'll be interesting to see where we are by the end of the week. It was these weekly charts now with last week's big red bar after 2 bottoming tail bars that didn't follow through. So the other side of a bullish wide range bar and consolidating at the top is a bearish wide range bar and consolidating at the bottom. Which one's going to win? Or do we go into another week of, chopping around? So no matter where I look here, I guess for today and possibly by the end of the week, we're just kind of still in the middle of which way are we going to go. So downside power, smaller upside power at resistance. Can it get to the top of this trading range where, the weekly chart is just flip-flopping back and forth again, which is just a bigger pattern of uncertainty. So we got smaller patterns of uncertainty and larger patterns of uncertainty, and flopping back and forth. Right? We know this is bearish. Right? Breakout failure, breakdown, consolidation at the bottom, power bar up. Is it going to find support? Well, we need, again, the title of YouTube. This is going to take time to digest. And that's the short one sentence to everything I'm saying here. Bitcoin, big up, void below, flip-flopping around. Crude oil, improving, right? So the oil stocks were the ones that really started to move. Back to the inflation theme, crude oil going up. And one of the other things was, interest rates started coming down. And that, of course, institutions saw that as a positive, right? And now we see things coming right back up again. And so look at the 30-year. It came back in, and now it's right back up above the highs. The 10-year, right back up. So it fell hard, and now it's right back up again, where the markets were thinking, oh, you know what, this is a concern, right? Interest rates going up, not good for equities. Are they going this high? And so the market saw the Fed announcement yesterday as a positive. Everything happened. And now things flipping back in the other direction immediately. Right? The 5-year, not so much so, which, of course, why we've got, we had improvements over here. Short term, these yield curves getting back above zero here. So there's these positives and negatives, which again leads to not firing on all cylinders and uncertainty. And so where does that leave us as far as making money? Well, based on that big bar yesterday and rallies, short-term credit spreads, put spreads seem the most high probability scenario of staying above this week's lows, with, of course, an eye on the exit door because of what I just showed you here. It's like if these were still going lower, right, it would say, okay, things are continuing with that bullish turn that happened yesterday, and now we've got things that are just makes more of uncertainty, and look, at some point it'll pass. Silver bouncing off of the lows expected after this climactic move down, and gold similar, but this broke down, it's coming back up. So how far can it get? There's a pivot high right here. So not a great opportunity there either. That's the volatility came ripping way down. It was, again, my scenario didn't play out. VIX popping up, broader markets going down to those big open interest levels, creating a great opportunity. Rather, it went in the other direction. So it happens. Now we'll see, what was resistance, does it become support? And we'll see how things play out today as to which way this all goes. So be nimble today. We get some kind of pullbacks, which, as you look at individual stocks or ETFs that pull back and increase premiums, and those put spreads there create opportunities where, if they expire tomorrow, if we can find those premiums, I believe those are going to be no-brainer trades. And that's why I threw out the idea of SPX for tomorrow that far away. And we'll see if we find those kind of opportunities in individual stocks, or whether we want to consider going out into next week. So where was we here? British pound collapsing on an interest rate increase. So we've got all of these things going on that are like uncertainty, dynamics that are happening in the market that just are concerning as to committing to anything rather than short term. So that's dropping here, which means the dollar's still going up, interest rates are still going up. All of those things are problematic. That's not what I wanted here. I wanted this one here. It's going down. Look at that collapse. So with interest rates going up, this is supposed to be stabilizing. Now that it goes down, the euro, right, coming in a little bit here, and the dollar coming back up again. So we'll see what shakes out here today as it digests it, and we'll see what happens. To you, Dan.
Oh, wait, you said the British
they raised
bonds fell,
yeah.
but right, so interest rates should rise.
They did. They raised a quarter point. And so
okay, so the
currencies are tied to interest rates, and just like the dollar's been going up, what the hell happened here? I don't know. Right. So it's just a situation where the pound should have continued to rise and it collapsed.
Right.
I don't have an answer.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, how, I'm backtracking, but what's your explanation of our 10-year doing a 180 reversal?
That yesterday was bullshit. And as
that's real money moving
digested what happened, they just don't believe it, or it was just short covering. We'll see. That's why, again, the theme of we have to the markets have to digest this, right? And what I put in YouTube as a title, it's going to take time to digest this. So while we've got what happened yesterday, what's happening this morning, which one is really telling the truth, I think we'll have a better idea of that probably early next week. And we'll see what happens today and tomorrow.
All right. Well, and so, you've been hearing me say that for 20 years in terms of the whips on FOMC. So this is, playing out again. I say you get an initial move for, I don't know, hedging, whatever, you get a down move, and then you get an end of day move. So that played out. I was just shocked of the magnitude of that end of day rally. But you know what, Greg, it did the identical thing at the prior meeting. Remember, we were scratching our head at the prior meeting. But then I also say, don't get excited that I usually wait an hour. This is just on experience. You gotta wait an hour after Fed Day. It's just like people go home, read the newspaper, things sink in, and we'll talk in an hour. And as Greg said, retracement and et cetera. So, it's actually playing out as history says. All right, so all our opens are fine. Let's go right to a bunch of gappers here. Yeah, happy Cinco de Mayo, exactly. So this AUST is IPO yesterday. That's a crazy 180 wild ride. I don't think I would want an IPO coming out on Fed Day. Look at that. I don't know if it had anything to do with it, but it sure did not rally with the Fed rally. But anyway, look at it gapping up here and going sideways. This might be a little long day trade. Yeah, Twitter gapping up here, 30-minute high, sure. Raul asking about Newell. I don't see any gap. I see what you're looking at, the 180 reversal price void. It's just you got tails up and down, and the intraday is not in alignment. So I don't know. Power here I posted at earnings, deep retracement, but it made the turn on support in the 200. So I like that. EPAM here gapping up, but put spread here. I gave a big list here, just going through my morning gappers. Let me give it again here. So we'll come back to that, but yeah, let's see where this holds. And I'm open to a spider put spread for tomorrow. Nicola is making the turn on major support. That's a long watch and put spread. ONEW put spread, a big retest pattern. Semis put spread watch. Now I'll tell you the ones that I would consider 1 day versus 8 days. This one probably only 1 day. NVIDIA is a usual suspect. I would only do 1 day on this. So let's watch that for a put spread. Facebook was the best daily. That's on my list. 1 DT put spread. That looks really good. It'd have to be the 207.50s. ICE bought a company, but it looks the way this thing collapsed as that news came out yesterday. I just read it in the journal today, so it's old news. This would have been a put spread candidate provided it was gapping up. Now it's a continuation short. SEMO, big gap up, but excessive, $99. That's too big for me. Band. There you go, put spread. But we have all these end of day rallies, so that's what I said yesterday. We gotta wait for pullbacks. Vimeo's a bearish gap down. That's close to all-time lows. That looks horrible. Yeah, it is all-time lows, gapping under here. Wow. That's a call spread if there's any juice. A short watch, maybe 30-minute low. That's sloppy. Look how it's remember we talked about, well, actually the trade review of the week was on buy and sell setups. And this is retracing in such a sloppy manner. So that is garbage. Jacopo HNRG. Yeah, it's making a turn. Kind of needs some more oomph to me, and it didn't rally. Anything that didn't rally with yesterday's rally is kind of questionable. Twilio put spread idea. A downtrend, but bottoming tail and gapping up. So that's another one. I would only do one DTE. This is gapping up 306. Put spread if there's any juice. Jazz is pharmaceutical, but that's a mess. Run. Remember, I was going to buy this. I was going to buy this down here, but it had earnings. And now, wow, now that's a big gap up. We had the sector tan we had as a put spread in last weekend's letter. So that, and it's one of those patterns of, look, the trigger is over last Friday's topping tail. So that worked beautifully. I think this PWR is another little one, but ran already. CTVA. Now, see, but for the gap down, that would have been a beautiful double bottom put spread. But, you know, look at the gap here. Wait, the market's open and this is not printing on my daily chart. What's going on? Spiders. All right, spiders are printing. All right, so just eyeball that. That's a 40% retracement. So the bullish camp, you know, I'd say 50%. Let's see what it does at this rising 20. Charlie Foxtrot looks good. This had earnings. And I gave Moss over the high. What's my daily chart's not printing? Is the market open? It's 9:30. Yeah, things are moving. I hope my charts aren't messed up here, but look, there's no print here yet. This is approaching yesterday's high. So that's a 1, 2, 3. Axon, garbage. ALB, gap's too big. Vista, gap's too big, but bullish. iRobot, bearish gap. That would be a 1 DTE call spread, yesterday's high. These are all earnings stocks. Twink, that's Twinkies on a pullback put spread. Greg, you remember Wayfair in the stay at home retarded behavior? Look at this. This was $360. And I remember I was shaking my head. It's like, are they really making that much money? People ordering furniture? And look at that, 100% retracement. Ouch. So what is wrong with my daily charts here? Look, this is not printing. This is a bearish gap. So some are working and some aren't. So 250.